politics in the United States of America. The left has gotten really left, and the right has gotten really right. Everyone's towing the line, and we're getting nowhere. Fast. This is the Rational American. The Rational American. Common sense has gone out the window, and our passion is to open eyes in hopes that people will take a rational look at what America is actually becoming. Put your feelings aside and let's get real. This is the Rational American, and this is your host, Steve Oatley.
What the fuck is happening to this country? Oh my goodness. I don't know. Listen, I did 2 lives in one day when I said I wasn't doing lives anymore. You guys must understand that I'm sitting here trying to figure out what is going on. Like, seriously, what is going on? All right. And I'm going to run through everything. I'm going to run through all of the day's news stories. Excuse me. I'm also fighting like a losing my voice thing going on. It sucks, but whatever. As a reminder, this show is going to be half on Rumble or half on YouTube and all the platforms, and then half on Rumble. But then I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to replay it 10 times on YouTube all night long. So I'll replay the entire show. So if you don't want to go to Rumble and you don't mind, you'll be like, if you're listening to this anytime after 6 p.m., you're watching it on a replay on YouTube. I'm trying something new just to see. But what the heck is going on in this country? I really don't understand. Okay. And it's hard for me to to put everything in so it actually makes sense. It's very, very difficult. Okay. It's very, very difficult because none of this makes any sense. Okay, first off, we have this new phenomenon in America, which I didn't know existed, but apparently it does, right? And apparently it's been well known to everybody but me. Did you know that Mexican people can be white supremacists? I didn't know that. I did not know that. That when you know what I think about when I try to rationalize that in my head? The Dave Chappelle skit where he plays a black dude that's blind and thinks he's white and he's racist and he's part of the KKK. That's literally what I'm apparently supposed to believe now, that a Mexican dude can be a white supremacist. I just don't get it. And then they hold a press conference, only take 3 minutes of questions, and then say, although he may have had some white supremacist, tendencies or ideology, or we can't discount that yet, this wasn't a targeted attack based on race, based on sex, based on gender, based off anything. It's just weird. It's just weird. And then you got Bellingcat, a CIA paid operative, a company that literally takes money from our government, finding a social media profile of the alleged shooter on a Russian social media channel. Like, you can't even make it up. You're like, wait a second. This doesn't make any damn sense, because it doesn't. None of this makes any sense. Okay. The fact that the dude's Mexican and a white supremacist. Okay. Like, if you want to believe like really out there things, okay, we can believe. And if you want to try to argue that he doesn't suffer from mental health crises, imagine that. You're Mexican, but you're a white supremacist. Like, if that doesn't show that you're mentally ill, I don't know what else does. But it doesn't, I don't understand it. I just don't understand this stuff. I really don't. For the life of me, I've tried to understand it. I've tried to make sense of it. Someone said Garcia had nothing to do with the Russians. Yeah, no shit. But Bellingcat found a full social media profile on a Russian social media page that had no interactions whatsoever, and we're supposed to believe it's authentic. Like, come on. And anybody that does believe that's authentic, you are a moron. Like, that's the only thing I could say. You're a moron. So a group that has ties to the Central Intelligence Agency, who has received money, or monies from the Central Intelligence Agency finds a hidden profile on a Mexican white supremacist who doesn't speak Russian on a Russian social media site. You can't. And then it's got photos to prove that he is a white supremacist of here down of some skinny dude that's tan with a swastika that looks like it was drawn on by a Sharpie and lightning bolts on his arm. And we're supposed to believe that's the guy, that's this mass shooter from Texas. It doesn't make any sense. Here's the biggest, craziest thing. We have not got an actual mugshot from this guy. You could argue that maybe he's never been arrested, right? We don't even have a DMV license. Nothing has been released in terms of his actual photo. Guys, he was a licensed security guard in the state of Texas. Do you know what's required to be a licensed security guard in the state of Texas? A photo ID. They take your picture. Do you know what I mean? It's so stupid that everybody is just blindly following this and being like, oh, you know what? He must be a white supremacist, even though he's Mexican. And like me, listen, other people in the chat are saying the same thing, that there has been occasions where there's been Nazis that are Mexican. I think it's weird. I just think it's odd. And he didn't have any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, any of these back channel Reddits, any sort of, social media presence, truth, anything. Like, guys, all the Belling guys, you guys screwed up. You should have at least made him a True Social account. Like, you should have thrown in and tried to go after Trump with that too. Like, I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. And when you pay attention to it, it's just crazy. And just how everybody wants to believe it. It's that they need to believe it. They must, because it's the only it's the only reasoning behind why someone would go and commit some heinous crime as this guy did, right? Because there's no logical explanation why you would go and murder, 8 people. There's no logical explanation to that. You know what I mean? So and I understand, like, if that's what you're trying to do and say, listen, we can't prove mental health issues, even though he was discharged from the military in 2008 for mental health issues. And yet somehow he was, and this is because the military apparently doesn't, and this has happened before, where the military doesn't report mental health discharges to the proper authorities, and then those people are able to go buy guns. I believe one other mass shooting in like North Carolina had something very similar. But it's insane. It's insane. I don't care who you are out there. This is batshit crazy. You know what I mean? And they've slow rolled any information out about this shooting as well. Every bit of information that's come out about this has been weird. And has nobody made the connection yet that this alleged Mexican white supremacist had a profile on a Russian site that like banned Nazism, like as a platform goal? They don't allow Nazism on their site. And Russia, but he was pro-Ukraine too. Like, I just don't understand. Apparently some of his stuff was pro-Ukraine, which doesn't make any sense. Well, it does make sense if you think about the Nazi aspect. That is the only thing actually out of this whole scenario that makes any sense. That he would be pro-Ukraine if he was in fact a Mexican Nazi. I can't, it's really hard for me to say Mexican white supremacist without like the urge to not laugh out my ass. Because it just doesn't, it's stupid. It's stupid. I don't care who you are right there. It's just dumb. But I mean, what else are we supposed to believe? Right? Republicans here's the interesting thing. Nobody's really talking about the mental health aspect right now, because the left is talking about guns, and now it's like 2 birds with 1 stone, right? They can go after AR-15s like they've been doing in gun control measures now and all the same stuff that they always do. But now they could tie the white supremacist aspect into it. To them, this is like porn. Like, to the leftist media, they're like, oh yeah, we don't have any verified sources. 2 unnamed law enforcement sources say that he was a white supremacist. Let's post it all out. But like, I can imagine the editor, right, of the Washington Post article who first broke that he was a white supremacist. I can imagine the Washington Post editor. Okay, so you're reporting that he is a Mexican American and that he's a white supremacist. Like, can you imagine? And then Jeff Bezos called and he's like, print it. And so they printed it. And then, everybody else continues to report it, and then it becomes truth. It's like the mugshots. We don't actually have a mugshot of this guy. They haven't released one. They have one. They have one from the Army from 2008 when he was in the Army before he was discharged. They have one there. They have one from his driver's license that they haven't released. They have one from his security license that they haven't released. No friends, no family has come out and spoken about it and shared a photo. What? Get the hell out of here. This is all bullshit. The whole thing is bullshit. And like, I'm not saying that the killings didn't happen. But what I'm saying is that they are deliberately providing the most absurd scenario that you could possibly imagine, which only leads you to believe, what the fuck are they trying to cover? Did this guy go out and campaign for Joe Biden? Like that would be the only thing that I could think. Like, he was the Texas chairman of Biden for 2024. And so they are throwing everything out there before. And his whole entire social media was entirely scrubbed. Is scrubbed. There's nothing. Like, usually you can go back to the Wayback Machine or whatever and find websites or find links. He had nothing. No presence on American social media. No Twitter, no Facebook, no Instagram, no TikTok. He had a YouTube page, or at least the Russian site linked a YouTube page that was apparently this guy, that shows a face reveal of this guy taking off a screen mask. But we have no verification that this guy that's in the video is even the guy that did the shooting. Because his face doesn't match any of the other mass shootings that have been released. And that's the craziest thing, is everyone is like, oh, it's real. And we must believe it. But there's no evidence that any of this is real at all. Nothing. Not a bit of it. except for the fact that people were shot. You have a 20-year-old security guard that was shot and killed. You've got other innocents, including young children. It's just, the whole thing doesn't make any fucking sense to me, And if the only logical explanation is that he was a Mexican white supremacist, okay, I'll take it. I'll agree. But then when you throw in that all his information was found on a Russian social media site, and that he put a sponsored post out by libs of TikTok and said that this racist rant that he wrote down on this Russian social media site that had no interactions, no friends, nothing for all of his content. That's the craziest thing. His content was never seen, and it was on this Russian site. I would love for the Russian site to come out and be like, this website and all the content that's on this website was created after the shooting. Because I have no doubt in my mind, every bit of it was created after the shooting. Every single thing was uploaded. That's what I believe. Because none of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. And again, why would you post it on a Russian website? The Russians hate the Nazis. That's why they invaded Ukraine. That's their reasoning behind it, is they said Ukraine is full of Nazis. That's why they invaded Ukraine. None of it. Like, when you really think about it, nothing makes any sense. Nothing makes any sense in regards to this one. And then you got the other Mexican gangbanger that runs over on Sunday and kills 7 people, injures 8 others. The guy that, sped through and killed him, they're charging him with manslaughter. The new video comes out. I saw it on April's page, on April's Twitter, where it shows the Mexican immigrants beating the shit out of this guy. And I was wondering at one point, I'm like, holy shit, did the cops F this dude up? Because he was in the hospital really, really, really beat up. And I thought maybe once I saw the vehicle, the Range Rover or whatever, that he crashed in all these migrants. But then I saw the video. No, the migrants, the ones that didn't get run over, literally were trying to kill him in the middle of the street in America. And that guy is a verified gang member. Nobody's paying attention. And the fact that we have 700,000 migrants that are about to cross into this country. Wait till I tell you what the Border Patrol did. Even my wife, bless her liberal heart, was like, what? Like, she couldn't even believe it. And I'm going to tell you that in just a second. But first, I want to remind everybody that if you go right now to the link that's in the description of the video, and it's in your chat right there, and I'll put it on chat, the chat in Rumble. rate it as well. If you go to that link, there's two things you should be wary of, or not wary, two things you should pay attention to. One, the Rumble link, because anyone that's watching on a regular social media channel, you'll want to move over to Rumble pretty soon. Second thing is that we are doing an iPad slash laptop computer giveaway. And essentially you're getting to choose. So what you do is when you click on that link in the chat, you'll see where you could tip via Cash App, you could tip via Venmo, you could tip via PayPal, you could tip via credit card. Fill out the information. It's just a quick little thing and you're supporting my show. For every $10 you contribute tonight, that's an entry into our giveaway. We're going to do it live tomorrow during the day at 11:45 when we're doing our new show at 11:45 every single day. Live, by the way, 11:45 live every single day. But yeah, if you want a chance to win, that's what you could do. If you send $50, you got 5 entries. $100, you get 10 entries. You do $500, I'll give you an iPad. You don't even need to win, like you automatically win. Plus someone else will win as well. And I'll tell you, I'm trying to raise all of the money that I'm doing from this for me. And the reason why is because I got to build a bathroom in my warehouse. So that way I don't have to drive back home and I could do the show from the warehouse in Frederick County. So that's the plan, and it's expensive. It's like $3,000 to build like a very basic bathroom with no ceiling. But I got to do it because I can't drive a half an hour here, then go all the way back and do the bus run and everything that I'm doing. So if you want to win an iPad or you want to win a computer, all you have to do, when you send a Cash App or Venmo, you can type a message and say iPad, or I'll contact you and you just tell me whether it's an iPad or laptop that you want. And they're both brand new. I'm going to Best Buy tomorrow to pick them up. So, well, after someone tells me what they want, like if you like, say, for example, say John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith wins, I'm going to message him and say, hey, what do you want, an iPad or a laptop? And he'll tell me, and then I'll go buy it and ship it out. So make sure, if you haven't already, you contribute. And just, I mean, it's like my shitter fund. That's what we're calling it, the shitter fund. Anyway, did you guys hear this crazy shit about what the Border Patrol is doing? Now, everyone may or may not know Title 42 is ending on Thursday, I believe it is. So there's currently, it's not that many. It's only about 700,000 migrants that are currently waiting at the southern border, waiting for Title 42 to expire so they can all run into the country, and they can't be expelled now under Title 42. Yeah, it's not that big of a crisis. That's why the Border Patrol is going to be safe releasing people right on the city streets in America without even processing them. Yeah, it's super crazy. Anyway, did you hear what the Border Patrol decided that they're going to do? They issued a press release yesterday. God, it's hilarious too. They issued a press release yesterday saying that they're going to do this enhanced big whatchamacallit, where they're going to go after all of the like a big bust essentially. Where they're going to go after all of the gotaways. The gotaways are the people that avoid apprehension at the border. So they're the ones that are not turning themselves into police. They're the ones that are running from police. They're usually the ones that are criminals or don't want to get captured, don't want to get sent out of the country, drug smuggling, that kind of stuff. So they announced that they're going to go after these people. And they announced this in a press release. And then they sent out the press release to everybody. Except they didn't do the bust. They said, like in the press release, it said, tomorrow we're going to do this bust. So they announced to all the asylum people or all the illegal immigrants that are here in this country illegally, because whether you know it or not, the asylum seekers, when they do and they're processed and they're given the court date, they're no longer here illegally. They can't work. They can't do anything else legally, but they are legally in the United States at that point until they miss the court date, which 60% of them do. And then they're here illegally because they miss the court date. But what the Border Patrol did is they put out a press release saying we're going to do this bust. Before they did the bust, distributed it to everybody. Everybody reported on it. Then they sent officers out onto the streets to do the bust, right? And so what are they doing? I'm not joking. This is the most absurd thing you've ever heard in your life. I promise you. You know what they did? They were walking up, armed Border Patrol agents with badges and guns, I'm fighting this thing in my throat. It's fucking driving me nuts. It doesn't hurt. It's just I'm losing my voice. And so what they're doing is they're going out armed, uniformed police officers, some in plain clothes, and they're handing brochures to all the people that are there illegal, saying you should really consider turning yourself in. Like, you can't even make this shit up. Our country is so freaking gone. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I used to say when Biden was first, inaugurated, I said, we're just going to sit and watch what he does for the next 4 years. I never in my wildest dreams thought we'd be at record inflation, that we'd be at record, unemployment. Or see, and this is the thing, because he's championing adding 12.3 million new jobs, except he didn't, because we were still down 7 million or 9 million or whatever we were from COVID, the COVID losses when he took office. He won't tell you that because that's not the truth. And he didn't add any new jobs. People got jobs back, but whatever, that's semantics. Who cares? But then when you look at the actual people, the working population, how many people were working prior to COVID versus how many are now, it's weird, right? Because we have more jobs, unemployment rates low, but we have less people in the workforce. By 25 million less people in the workforce when our population is continuing to grow. Didn't you hear? COVID, people were popping out babies left and right. What is happening? They just lie. And Biden, and the craziest thing, even in his 89,000-year-old self, in his mind, he knows, or at least the person that's typing the message, because let's be honest, it's not him. The person that's typing the message on Twitter knows that what they are telling you, the American public, is complete and utter bullshit. But yet they still post it. You know what I mean? Yet they still post it. So they post about his jobs, and then people are like, wait a second, that's not true. And then he posts about record low unemployment numbers. Does anyone know how unemployment works? When you stop filing for unemployment, you're no longer considered unemployed to the government, to the unemployment numbers. So when you stop collecting unemployment, you're not actively seeking work. You're not counted as one of the people that are not, or that are unemployed. So the unemployment numbers are going down. That's why there's so many jobs. We got 10 million open jobs in the United States, and they just lie about it. Constantly, consistently lie over and over and over. And the American public is just like, okay, we just suck it up. And that's why I was saying, like, clown world, there's no other definition for what's happening to our country. Just like I said in the description of this video, for a long time, I've always been the optimistic guy, right? I've always been the one to be like, we'll make it through. Nope, this fucking country is gone. How long until it's fully gone at this point? I have no idea. But this is insane. Hopefully it lasts till my kids are grown and have their own kids, and their kids are grown and have their own kids. But the amount of damage that he's going to do. And if what happened in 2020 happens in 2024, we are so fucked. Like, I'll be honest with you. We are. Because look at the damage in 4 years. Or not even 4. We're at 2 years, 2.5 years. Look at the damage so far. Look at the unemployment numbers. Or look at the GDP. Look at every single fucking number that's going out. Inflation through the roof. Look at the cost of eggs. Look at the cost of fuel. Look at the cost of living every single day. Look at rents. Look at homes. Look at everything. And then say, oh yeah, it's going great. It's so insane. It's so insane. And that's the truth. That's the truth. It's incredibly insane. And I don't know how to make any sense of it. I've tried to be the guy that's like, okay, we'll make it. Yeah. But I can't do that anymore. I just got to say, hopefully everything is going to make it for a couple 100 years. Right. But I feel like we're on that downtrend. That's what I feel like. Downtrend. Stony or Oregano said, how does your wife feel about being a Democrat at the moment? She's not a Democrat at the moment. She's an independent. She doesn't really like what's happening here either, because we are also, middle class, so stuff costs more money, it affects us just like everybody else. I'm not independently wealthy anymore because I invested all my money in Citizen Stringer. What the fuck was I thinking? But you know what I mean? But so we're doing everything that we can to be able to do what we have to do. And it's just crazy. So Smooth Operator 3 said, so isn't that they canceled the pipeline that was my job? Oh yeah, the 34,000 jobs that they left. Yeah. I mean, my wife voted for this guy and I never let her forget it every single day. I'm like, we see something on the news and I'm like, Biden did that, which means you did. You know what I mean? It's the truth. And here's the thing, people are still going to vote for this maniac. Like, they're still going to vote for him, which is the craziest thing. There are people that literally have Biden Harris 2024 Twitter emojis or profile pictures. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. It really is. I don't care who you are out there. I don't, and they're not coming for the guns. Like everybody that says, "Oh, 2A, oh, they're coming for 2A. We're gonna have to register a gun." Fuck that. It'll never happen. Okay. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What people have to do is you have to pay attention to what's happening instead. And if you don't want them taking away their guns, you should be, speaking out to your legislators and your politicians and saying, hey, we got to really focus on some sort of solution. Because let's be honest, across the board, we can't have this mass shooting shit continue to happen. And it rose under Trump, it rose under Obama, it rose under Biden. And it's going to keep rising. And if Biden isn't elected, it's going to rise again just under whoever the next president is. That's what's going to happen. It's not going to go away anytime soon. And I'm not going to be like this all Joe Biden's fault, because mass shootings were up during the Trump years as well. And that's what a lot of people say. Well, it's a running trend. So right now there's an increase in mass shootings and shootings in general because of the policies and procedures Trump put in place. Fuck that. That doesn't matter. It's none of that shit. The truth is, we have a major issue in America right now where we have guns out on the street in people's hands that shouldn't be possessing guns, and they're going out and committing heinous crimes. I know mainstream media only talks about the mass shootings, but listen, everybody can go to gunviolencearchive.org, and you can look at the past 72 hours. You will have 15 or 30 pages of shootings that occurred in the past 24 hours across America. And then if you look at the mass shootings, 25 a week average is what we're averaging right now. It's freaking insane. It's freaking insane. I don't know how you fix it. That's what I said in my earlier show. I have no idea. Red flag laws don't work. None of the shit that's been proposed, even the shit that the left wants and they're still championing. We need universal red flag laws. None of that shit works. It didn't stop the Buffalo shooter. He should have been barred from owning a gun because he threatened to shoot up his high school 7 or 9 months prior to buying the gun and going to shoot up a grocery store. It didn't work then. So it's not going to work now. And it's abused. But how do you fix it so we can actually put a dent in this, right? Do we pump a bunch of money? And this is something many of you guys will disagree with, and I don't give a fuck because I'm an individual. I have no problem with my taxpayer dollars going to fund resources in low-income places so they don't have to go sell drugs and they can get jobs and work and prosper and have lives, create their own businesses. I have no problem with that. I would much rather my taxpayer dollars go to that than Ukraine. Let's be honest. Okay, didn't you guys hear? We announced another 1.8 or 1.4, 1.2 billion dollars in military aid to Ukraine today. It's freaking insane. It's insane. But anyway, I want to remind everyone right now, if you click that link in the chat, this is very, very important. If you want to win an iPad, you want to win a tablet, or you just want to support this show and say, Steve, you got to keep doing live streams. Support this show, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in that link tree right there. You could do a credit card or PayPal or Cash App or Venmo. Every contribution over $10 today is an entry. So if you do $20, 2 entries, $30, 3 entries, et cetera, $500, not joking, you will get an iPad. You don't even need, there's no entries. You won. And someone else will win too, because we'll still give it away. But if you can do that, I would really appreciate it. And we'll keep doing the live streams as much as we can. I want to give a shout out again to Lisa and Damon from yesterday that contributed via PayPal. And I didn't see it until after. I appreciate all you guys. And so you should do that. And what you also need to do right now is click on there, do the Cash App, click back on the link and click on Rumble. Because as of right now, we're going Rumble only. I'll see you over there.